Hey guys! So I came up with a great idea. I am going to be starting a series. Same as my YouTube name, I'm going to call it Nat's Anxiety Journal, the series. So I write a lot of diary entries typed up, and I figured maybe I could read them out to you guys and it could highlight my life, my struggle with anxiety, social anxiety, and what used to be selective mutism. As a kid, I had very severe selective mutism. I think I still have it to some extent now. I'm very socially awkward. I can only talk to people that I'm comfortable around. People that I'm not comfortable around, one side of the family, I am an awkward mess. But I don't go mute anymore, if you get what I mean. So I like to just call it social anxiety. Anyways, yeah, this series, me reading out my diary entries that highlight how I feel about my anxiety in my adult life, I think that would be a great idea for a great series. Today's episode will be highlighting on the topic of finding a job with social anxiety and selective mutism in my adult life. So I'm 22 years old now. Monday, 18th of October 2021. So ever since lockdown opened up for the vaccinated, some opportunities for me have opened up. I have 2 jobs at the moment. I've been working in a salon for a paid apprenticeship and at a cafe as a waitress. I know it's crazy, but I'm working 7 days a week. It's not bad so far, and I hope that I keep both jobs long term. Suddenly, a busy woman. Before that, I was the opposite. Pays off for sleeping all day for over a year. Also, I bleached my hair like an e-girl, so blonde at the front section. Tuesday, 26th of October 2021. Constructive criticism from both my jobs. Don't tap clients from behind the shoulder to ask if they need water because it's very rude, says someone from the salon. Do not sweep hair near senior hairdressers' feet while they're cutting, says someone from the salon. The customers have been complaining about your attitude. Don't just take the plates. Ask them, are you finished with the food here? Says Miss Bossy Boots at the cafe. So anyways, my boss takes me downstairs to discuss something. I figured it was the email she entered wrong, hence why I didn't receive my roster. She looks at me very seriously, as if to lecture me, and says,
"Here are some of the things that I have been doing wrong. Only rinse if it's colour shine. If you want to ask someone for which shampoo to use or a hot towel, ask them quickly before they leave. Don't just run across the room to tell them. If you don't know what to use, always use a specific shampoo. Don't keep asking people what shampoo to use. Know which shampoo to use. Just use the specific shampoo. Shampoo twice at all times unless asked not to. Always communicate with the client. If you're leaving the sink to ask a question or get something, tell them, I'll be back, I just need to ask a question."
You are a mature aged apprentice. You're not 12, my boss says. You have been working here for a few weeks now, and you should know how things work. Otherwise, you did a good job. You will become a great hairdresser. Now, some of this may sound harsh. My boss is lovely and great. I love her. She gives me major art teacher vibes. I sat there with my shoulders slumped, listening, wondering if I should straighten up. I got kind of scared I would lose my job like my other work experiences that lasted less than a week. I knew I should have told the client something before I ran off, but my self-consciousness decided otherwise. Just like the time I should have waved at the train that left me hanging the other day, drove off, and didn't let me in. The amount of times I asked which shampoo and walked across the room. Idiot! Why did I do that? For most of my life growing up, I barely asked any questions or spoke up. Now that I try to, it seems to be at the wrong place at the wrong times. Like, for instance, what I just... so embarrassing. Oh my god. Speaking of embarrassing moments, the other week I accidentally flooded the salon bathroom. My boss called the plumber and told a client, 8 years working here, and this is the first time I had to call a plumber. Talk about embarrassing. As for the "you're not 12", I thought to myself, that is what I have wished to just scream at my mum constantly. I'm 22, not 12. I don't need your permission. I can make my own decisions. Don't tell my mom. One day, I will say it, and constantly. Don't tell my boss this. Even though I lied in my resume that I have worked a few jobs, this is technically my first job, and hopefully long-term job. A lot of the time, I'm treated as like a little kid in my family, and I have always had a little responsibility, which probably reflects the way that I act sometimes, plus my childhood anxiety disorder. A few times today, my social anxiety burned my mind. I felt like an idiot, like people were thinking that I was dumb. I first felt this back at my first cafe work experience. It's not the one now. One from a few years back, my first job that lasted less than a week. The feeling of things I want to say clog and drain in my throat. My motto is to count to 3, girl, and go for it. I feel like and hope that these jobs help as exposure therapy. These moments have made me feel embarrassed, guilty, dumb, hopeless, with an immense burning sensation in my mind and an inner urge to cry, which is normal when you're so stressed. Like, I stood there thinking I couldn't wait to just go home and cry to sad music in my room. Now that I'm on a train, that feeling has faded so much. These lists make me feel like I have no sense of awareness, which my bro keeps telling me, or knowing social norms, which is associated with autism. I think I'm just a bit awkward, and I am working on it. Girl, breathe. I don't give an F attitude. I don't give a frick attitude. I don't give a frick attitude. Obviously, I naturally have one. Putting aside all the sad things, I've never felt happier these days. I have 2 jobs. I'm still in the excited phase. So yeah, I can already tell I will look back on this in the future and laugh. Sometimes I stand there and I think, do I really want to be a hairdresser? Kind of, but at the same time, I'm not so sure. Let's just see how my first year goes. Other times when I'm in the salon, I look around and I'm like, this is where I belong. I was thinking to myself a few times, can I really take on a job that requires talking to people? I taste the bitter taste of social anxiousness, hoping no one notices how I heat up on the inside like an iron. I keep thinking I'll outgrow it. Fake it till you make it. I mean, look how far I've come. From childhood selective mutism to social awkwardness. What a difference! And that's as much as I've written so far. So I just came home from work at my cafe where I work as a waitress. They have stopped letting me take orders. But yeah, it's good. I reckon I'm doing pretty well. I'm doing so much better than my first cafe experience a couple of years ago, and I enjoy it. Sometimes my social anxiety does ignite on the inside, and I'm just like, what do I do? What do I do? What do I do? Other than that, everything's going great. And if you've made it this far in the video, hope you related to some of it. And I will be making more on this series, my adult life with anxiety, and I am excited to start this series. Thank you for watching and stay tuned.